Hey guys, it's Archon. Welcome to Torment Tuesday. This week, the PTR patch notes were updated, so I just wanted to go through them, tell you guys what's new, what you can look out for if you're playing the PTR, and what you can look forward to if you're not playing the PTR. The notes are linked below in the description. I'm just going to go through the things that are new, but all the changes that are coming with patch 2.1 are on here. The things in red are the things that are new, and I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because on West March Workshop, our podcast on Wednesdays, we go through the patch notes very extensively, but that takes a long time, and you can read them yourself if you want to. I just want to point out the important things and what I thought about them. They're increasing life on hit from items and Paragon points. Again, lots more life on hit. Now, of course, life on hit kind of got a nerf. It can only proc once per cast now, but it's not subject to the proc coefficient. So as of right now, on the PTR, life on hit is great in single targets, but it's not any better in groups. It's just going to be the same regardless of how many mobs you're fighting. They might make changes to that in the future because it seems kind of weird. You know, the more mobs around you, the more survivability you need, and it kind of seemed to work that it scaled that way. But they didn't want certain skills to be better than others, and the proc coefficient was just getting in the way. Proc coefficients, of course, still exist, just they don't affect life on hit. There were some bug fixes with Ramalandi's gift. Legendary gem upgrade success chance will now show on the Greater Rift scorecard. That's pretty cool. Of course, the further you progress in the Greater Rifts, the better the chance of you upgrading your legendary gem, and now you'll know the chance after you beat the Rift. So that's pretty useful. Some class changes here. Barbarian, nothing new, but moving down into the Demon Hunter. Actually, the Crusader had something, but I'm going to get back to that. The Demon Hunter, not much changed here. They just changed some skills to cold damage. They changed some things that did slow, so they now chill, so they can combo with things that work on chill effects. And of course, then they also changed Cold a Weak, so that it also includes chilled enemies and not just slowed enemies. Monks, this might be the changes you've been waiting for, or at least the first step. Monks have needed some love, and they're getting some here. Basically, most of these changes are either giving you more spirit or giving you more spirit generation, which is the thing that Blizzard has said they wanted to change with monks for a while now. It's just you just never have enough spirit, and getting spirit feels really annoying because you're doing like no damage while you're getting the spirit, and then it's gone as soon as you have it. So now all the spirit are belong to you, monks. Like a lot of changes here. I won't go through all of them, but go ahead and read them if you like. Using the link below, but yeah, a little more life per second. Other than that, spirit. So moving on to the Witch Doctor, not many changes here, but you can have the Fetish Army and Fetish Sycophants out at the same time, which is something that Witch Doctors have been complaining about for a long time. Typically, you only use one or the other. Now you can have all the fetishes, and there's going to be a counter that shows you how many fetishes you have out, as well as a counter that shows you how much longer you have on your Gargantuan if you're using the Wrathful Protector rune. And then a few things were changed from one damage type to another. You can use Acid Cloud as fire and cold now, as well as Grasp of the Dead got a cold rune as well. And let's see, moving down, the next one was the Wizards. Oh my god, Wizards. Wizards have been a little weak in the last patch. And it looks like we're finally getting some of the buff we needed. Channeling spells, they recently got a change so that they now do small amount of damage at first, but then their damage ramps up. And the change they made here is that it's going to ramp up much quicker. The maximum is only a little bit higher than it was before, but they're going to ramp up. They're going to scale up about 3 times as fast as they did in the initial change. So that should be pretty cool. You're not going to be as punished if you can only hold down your channeling spell for a few seconds. Most of these, it's only going to take about 3 seconds to get to maximum damage, which is much higher than it was before they made this change. So overall, I really like that change. I think channeling skills should be the best in certain situations, but not in all situations, and this is a way to do that. It's not going to be worth it to use channeling spells if you're just tapping it here and there, but if you can really stand there and just let them have it, then you can do a lot of damage, because that's hard to do, so you should be rewarded for it, I think. And now you can use Arcane Torrent as lightning as well, which is pretty cool. They made a lot of changes so you can use skills in different elemental types. Archon makes you immune to crowd control effects. That's pretty cool, because when you're feeling badass in Archon, you don't want to get frozen. It's like, oh no, my Archon, it's running down. So now you can just keep going. Don't have to worry about crowd control. So that's pretty awesome. Black Hole can actually do some damage now. Got about a double in its damage. Blizzard got another damage increase, and all the runes are way better now. And even cooler than that, you can use Blizzard as a lightning skill and as a fire skill. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know how that works, Fire Blizzard. That seems like an oxymoron to me. But I'm very excited that you can use Blizzard in other builds other than Frost builds, and it looks like it's going to be pretty awesome. Frozen Solid now has a 100% chance to freeze for 2.5 seconds. That's like, why would you ever put Frost Nova on your build now that you have Frost Nova buff incoming, I think. Disintegrate, same change I mentioned before. Electrocute, you can use Electrocute as fire. They're just breaking all the rules about what damage type things do. Energy Twister got another buff, needed it. I still don't think it's going to be as good as it needs to be. But Mistral Breeze costs a little bit less. Wicked Wind does a little bit more. The big change, of course, though, is the twisters will now originate from where you click, which is cool. I mean, I think it's still going to suck because your twisters just go wherever they want to go, and probably are never going to hit any other enemies. But at least you'll get that first initial hit off. If you're trying to hit an enemy that's away from you, you don't have to just like hope that your twister gets there. You can just start your twister there, and then it can go away from all the enemies, and you can cry. Explosive Blast you can also use as cold now, which is pretty cool. Wand of Woe could be useful in a cold build, and you can also use it as lightning. They removed Time Bomb because no one liked Time Bomb anyways. Hey, you gotta wait even longer before you do damage. Now it's gonna be super hard to hit anyone, but it's gone. It reduces the cooldown to 3 seconds, and it does lightning damage. Incoming awesome lightning explosive blast builds. I'm calling it. Also, just a few other small damage buffs to Meteor. Ray of Frost got the same scaling up change I mentioned before. Spectral Blade got changed to Lightning. Lots of elemental type changes for the wizard in this patch. Wave of Force overall just got a nice increase in damage. Just some buffs to the runes. So that was pretty much it. Wizard got some awesome buffs. This is the patch of the wizard and the monk. I would call it the Don Vu patch if the devs hadn't just come out and said that they don't work on specific classes. But who knows, right? Anyways, last change I want to point out in the PTR. This is the big one. And as excited as I am for this change, I'm also kind of disappointed, and I'll explain why. This is the change you've all been waiting for. Two-handers might actually be useful now. They are buffing the damage on all two-handed weapons at level 70 by 23 to 26% depending on the speed. The slower ones get the higher damage increase, and this is really cool. Now, before you get really excited, Crusaders, you're getting nerfed by almost as much. Heavenly Strength will now also reduce all your damage by 20%. But because the two-handed damage is going up by 23 to 26%, you're still getting a little bit of a damage increase. I think they like to do that. They don't want you to feel like you're being nerfed. Yeah, this is what we needed. We needed two-handers to be stronger. As anyone who plays the game and doesn't play a Crusader knows, you never use two-handers because they're just not good. And the devs have been telling us for a while we can't buff two-handers because if we buff two-handers too much, then all of a sudden they're going to become the best item, and then one-handers aren't really good enough. So you know what? Travis Day pretty much just came out and said it, I think like a month or two ago. Two-handers are never going to be as good as one-handers. And they just couldn't find a way. How do we do this? How can we buff them and not make them overpowered and not break the game? And then someone was like, what if we just increase the damage by 25%? Yeah, I guess that'll work. Yeah, I guess we could just increase the damage. What? It took so long. I don't understand. If this is all we needed to do, was buff the damage by 25%, why wasn't it done 3 months ago? I mean, I'm sure there was a reason. It probably had a lot to do with the Crusader, but it just seems like such an easy fix. If this works out, where were you, devs? Gotta be on top of this. But overall, I think we can agree this is a good change. A lot more options as far as weapon goes. We'll see if Travis Day was right. Maybe this will make two-handers just the way to go, and they'll have to nerf them again. This is just a PTR, so anything could change, but yes, I think most players will be glad to see that change. So, yeah, the rest of the patch notes not too exciting. Read them for yourself if you want to. I'm going to move on to some forum posts. This guy made a post about a feature I wanted to point out. They're changing the first level of Greater Rifts into trials. Let me see what exactly they're called. Greater Rift Trials, I believe. There was a blue post on this post. Dun, 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 dun. No, you know what? He didn't even say the name of it. Rift Trials, something like that. Anyways, the first time you enter a Greater Rift, when you enter a Greater Rift level 1, I should say, you will face a wave of enemies. Instead of going through a rift, you'll just have waves of enemies coming at you. It's like a little mini game, and the more waves you can get through, the further your first Greater Rift will be. So it's kind of a way to skip past all of those initial rifts that are probably way too easy for you, and to change up the game a little bit. I think it's a great idea. Sounds like a lot of fun. But the post was about a bug on it right now. If you start a Greater Rift on T6, your trials will start at the difficulty T6. So if you're playing PTR, just start on lower difficulties and you won't have that problem. But it's just a bug, so it's going to be fixed. Don't worry about it if you've been freaking out. Also, there's going to be a new salvage all option. Great option. I'm glad they're adding this. Once you get your blacksmith to level 12, you can just set what rarity type you want items to be salvaged, and boom, salvage all your rares and blues probably for most players once they have enough legendaries to not need rares. And the last thing I wanted to show you guys was some seasonal goodies. Now, we already learned about these from the data mined information, but these are all the legendaries you can get only on the season. At least while the season's going on. After the season, everyone can get them, so I don't think it's that exciting, but whatever. You get to get them a few months before everyone else. Yay. And so you've probably read these if you're following along with the PTR, but now you can see them. There's a link below in the description if you want to read them. I thought this Chrome set would be really good for hardcore. It gives you 500 vit if you have both. The bracers make you immune to knockback and stun, which is pretty nice considering most bracers suck. And the belt gives you 25% run speed for 5 seconds after taking damage. So not bad, but it's just hard to justify those pieces when you can get other sets, unless maybe you were on hardcore. Gloves that give you sweeping wind for 60 seconds. That's mostly like a quality of life thing. I think most monks can keep up sweeping wind, but I know when I play a monk, I would love those gloves because I'm always dropping sweeping wind. I'm horrible at monks. Hammer Ancients has a 27% chance to summon an Ancient for 20 seconds. I'm sure that scales. It's not just static, it's 27. Yeah, some cool ones. Bola Shot sucks in enemies. Might be useful in a group. This wand for the wizard, I'm not too excited about it, but who knows? Players can find some cool ways to exploit stuff like this. Teleport no longer has a cooldown, but costs 25 arcane power. See, it just seems like mostly a movement thing, but you know, if you're using it with Calamity, and you had a lot of, arcane power regeneration, reduced cost, maybe you could come up with some crazy build where you're just calamitying all over the place. But really, it's a wand. Unless you can get some damage out of it, you're going to use a weapon that gives you damage over that. No one's going to take movement speed over damage. Also, if you do play on Season and you get to level 70, you get this cool Transmog set, just the helm and shoulders. So you do have to play Seasons for that. It's not going to roll over into normal after the Seasons are over like the items. And some banners. They only show this one banner, but basically if you get enough achievement points on the season, you get different banners. And also, for any Season fans, the PTR now has seasons. They say they're going to be resetting it a few times before the PTR is over, so if you wanted to get on Season and get to max level and start grinding, I wouldn't do it, because you might get reset before you even get to max level. But if you just want to see what Seasons are about, you can get on PTR and do it. I might try it out just to see there's any cool Season stuff I can check out before it gets reset. But that's about it from this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll have another one for you soon. Basically, if you get enough achievement points on the PT or on Season, yes, if you get enough.